Good morning, folks. Welcome to Monday, the 12th of July, 2021. Keeping it real with Marie and Lionel. This morning, we have our co host, Alemayu Debaya, in with us, as our dear partner, Lionel, is still dealing with some repairs based on the fact that we had a Hurricane 1 category Elsa hit us about a week ago in Barbados, and there were over 2,000 homes that were affected by this hurricane. So we want to wish Lionel our support in getting those repairs up. His home was obviously the roof was damaged in St. Joseph. He has some property up there, and he's been working diligently to have those repaired so that things can get back to some form of normalcy for him. And we pray that the government, who is assisting those through DEN, um, would succeed in the repairs, because over 2,000 homes is quite a lot. And we are hoping that some of these matters are rectified. We understand that some individuals are asking for the material and they're going to do the repairs themselves. I suppose with a long wait, it's better to do it that way. Whereas with the government doing the repairs, it will take a bit longer, because I assume they're going by a list. And of course, first come, first serve. So if they have over 2,000 Alamayu, we know it will take a little while
Yeah,
before
it's gonna take a
they,
long time to
yeah,
get what you need done.
yeah, definitely. So we want to wish all those persons who are going through this stage right now um, a quick success in whatever they're doing. Over the weekend, we had some news that was a little disturbing. That being that 40 persons were diagnosed with COVID-19 on Saturday. 40, 20 males and 20 females. That's quite a lot, Alamai, won't you say?
Yeah, that's an alarming number considering for the past couple weeks. Let's say past couple of weeks, the numbers were relatively really low. So I mean, this
Yeah,
party number now is as
yeah.
the as the chief medical officer and the minister of health said, is an alarming number. So
Yeah, and now they've taken um, some some position in regards to reinstating the curfew. It takes effect from tomorrow, the 12th, sorry, the 13th of July, on Tuesday, where now the curfew is going to be reinstated from 11 p.m. until 5 a.m. Now, a lot of people aren't happy about that. We're hoping that things would change. There to be no social gatherings such as fetes over the next 2 weeks. Attendance of cinemas, churches, and other indoor settings will be capped at 100 persons now. In relation to funerals and weddings, based on the spacing within those buildings, they're going to be capped at 100 as well. A lot of persons were looking to do summer camp, which as a parent, I was looking forward to that as well. Unfortunately, my daughter would be at school. They've also have a delay in that. Full contact sports have been banned for 2 weeks. And of course, there are going to be no spectators at sporting events. That may
nope.
mean that we won't be able to do the cricket, Alemayu. We would have
Um,
to stick to watching TV.
yeah, because what day it was again? I can't even remember.
It's the 20th, 22nd, and 24th in Barbados, at Kensington Oval in Barbados. That would be the West Indies versus Australia doing their T20 matches. So we're going to get to that a
So
bit later. Yeah,
so that's does that fall within the 2 week period though?
I think so, because this is the 13th. So if you really count it, 7 and 13 is 20. So the first, the, the, I think,
7 and yes, 13 and 7 is 20. So that's the
yeah,
following Tuesday.
Yeah.
Now you said
So
the date, so the 20th.
the 20th, 22nd, and 24th.
Oh yeah, that definitely falls within
Tuesday,
that 2 week.
Thursday, and Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I think it is.
That
And then,
definitely falls within the 2 week period.
yeah, and then of course, that clashes a bit with the opening of the Olympics, which is around that same week as well. I
Yeah,
think I have a correction on that. I think those matches are against Pakistan because the other three matches are being played in St. Lucia, Beausejour, sorry, the Darren Sammy Stadium in St. Lucia. And I think when that is over, I think I will check my notes again. They're supposed to be coming to Barbados for three matches. I'll verify if it's Australia or Pakistan. But those things are going to put a little curb in some, getting back outside and stuff like that.
yeah,
Um, dance clubs and dance studios will not be able to operate for the next 2 weeks. Public transport is going to go back down to 75% capacity. When, well, I think that had come back because when we had the onset of the tropical storm slash hurricane Elsa, a lot of persons were told that have to, they were going to go back to 100%. So things like that, we
yeah.
know, it's going to be
Yep.
uh, back to
We're
square
back here
one, as we
again.
was. Yeah, we're back here again, and we're encouraging people to follow the protocols. The protocols. I don't think Barbados has been doing too bad. I think Australia has now gone back on a 2 weeks shutdown again. I think they now have the strain of the new variant that's
The
now
Delta.
affecting them, the Delta variant. So,
Oh,
there's
okay.
a lot that people have to consider at this time to keep to the protocols. Wear your mask, sanitize, social distance. These are things that we keep asking people out there to do their part to help us bring down this virus. And without doing the correct thing, it's a bit of a challenge to the
It's true because look, we got 40 persons now with this COVID.
yeah.
And
And
from based on what they said yesterday, it seems as you says that the relative people were not following protocols. The church
yeah,
was not
correct.
following protocols or anything.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
um,
That's right. Now, we want to let folks out there know we're going to be having our special guest, an author, a Bajan author, USA Today's best-selling author by the name. She goes by Dahlia Rose. And of course, we're going to be so elated to have her on the show with us this morning so she can give us a little snippet about herself, as well as one of her new books that came out, A Love Hate Relationship. Well, I finished that book, I think, in 2 days. But we're looking forward to hear from her this morning. And of course, we will encourage her to join us in our discussions. One more thing before we get to Dahlia. Um, we have to give our condolences to those families who would have lost a loved one in these fatal accidents on the road over the weekend. Again, I told you we really had a busy weekend along the ABC highway. Mark Mark Anthony Watson, I think is his name. Our condolences to his family. And then there was another incident yesterday, early in the morning. Two individuals, two young 32-year-old men who lost their lives as well in another accident along Whitehall Crossroads. It's very, very sad in terms of how these individuals have lost their lives. So we pray for the families who um, it's very sad. We ask people to take due care while they're driving, look out for the pedestrians. These are important factors. When, it's a responsibility when you're driving on the road now, when you're out there, traffic is a little busier. So, look to your left, look to the right, and make sure that you're cognizant of what's happening. I think one of the things that is a bit annoying is that individuals seem to don't care about the law. They're still continuing to use their cell phones while driving. And that is something that I see every day. I don't know if you see it, Alamai, but I see it. Even the ZR drivers and the buses. Yes, the bus drivers are actually still using cell phones while driving. You know, that's not a nice thing at all, that to have that going on.
And people going people gonna do what they feel like doing unless you have stronger policing of various things, then people just continue to do what they feel like doing. So I mean, and as I say, if you're not seeing a stronger presence in terms of, well, if you use a cell phone on the road driving,
Mhm. Mhm.
then
Mhm.
you'll get this or you'll get put in prison for how many of a months, or you're gonna pay this fine. And if people
Yeah.
are not seeing that regularly,
Correct.
then they can be like, oh yeah, I accuse my cell phone, man. Once police can see me, I gotta go.
Yeah, that's what they think all the time. I'm not saying that the
Yeah, I
cell phone
understand.
incident would have caused the accidents that we've just
Yeah,
mentioned.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
speaking on another aspect of when people are driving, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing while they're
yeah.
driving.
Yeah,
You
the law
know,
is supposed to be upheld wherever you are. I mean,
correct,
it's not wherever possible. It's
correct,
at all times. So,
correct.
I mean, if the law says no use of cell phone while driving, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
don't use it.
That's right.
'Cause
That's right.
I think the only exception for that is, I think, for police officers. They're the only people, and I think emergency people. Besides those, I don't think nobody else should be using a cell phone on the road, anyways.
Correct. Correct. But be that as it may, we just want to make sure that persons stick to the rules and the laws of the land when it comes to driving. There had also some individuals, some Chapman Lane residents, who were injured in a fire over the weekend. We hope that they're recovering well. A little baby was involved in that incident, so we want to wish those in that family speedy recovery, as well as to give the hero, that individual who took it upon himself just to go in there and get things going to try to assist that family. I think it is very heartwarming to hear that they have actually um, gone out there to assist. Um, Paynes Bay Market not for sale. They're saying that they were going to, people are rumored that the market is going to be on sale. That's not true. The minister said it's going to be under renovation. So we ask persons to desist from making propaganda in these areas for these things.
The
It's not nice.
propaganda just manages to raise its head every
Once
single
again,
time.
that's right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
and what people don't realize is when you put out things like this, it just doesn't stay there, People will run with this thing,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
especially like something like that. For for example, people hear that, they can tell the next door neighbor, and they tell whoever, yo, PNSB market for sale. And then, people say, well, I never believe I see there when it's for sale. You know what I mean? And it
mm-hmm,
just goes around and people hear it and it goes down the line. And then the minister or whoever has to come and then say, clarify that it ain't for sale. And then, you have these two things in people's mind. Is it for sale or isn't it for sale? Some people don't believe what politicians say anyway.
so true. So true.
So that's the thing. So I'm saying that desist from from
Spreading
spreading
rumors.
this thing.
Yes.
You wait if
Yes.
you wait it out. I mean, if it can be true, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying when you get the word, you wait out. You ask other people, creditable people that
Yes.
you know are close to the situation or that could give you a better understanding of what's going on
Correct.
before you decide that, oh, somebody sent me this thing, well, for sale. Let me send this here to John, Bob, Harry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
just
They got it.
desist, people.
That's
Desist.
right.
This is
That's
why
correct.
social media. is a very dangerous thing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you saw it raise its ugly head during the pandemic. You're seeing it raise its ugly head all over the place. We're sharing of videos and spreading videos and all these
Correct.
different things.
Yeah, that's not nice at all.
And then what happens? You just have a whole big mass of confusion and a
Fusion.
mess that
Yeah.
somebody then has to come and clean
And
up and
clean up.
clear up
Correct.
and say, well, oh, this is not really so, or that's not what happened, or this is not this is not what the situation is.
That's right.
So to
And that's
stop that from happening, or to
yeah.
give people the ease,
Yeah.
just don't send it at
And
all.
oh, that's right.
Keep
That's
that to
right.
yourself. You
Correct.
understand? And you
And
know,
sometimes
they just love to share. They just
share
love to share
everything.
any and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They,
And
they just
sometimes what they need to do is ignore, delete, ignore. You know, wait
yeah.
until you get the correct news, the correct information, so that then they feel more confident to say, okay, well that was rubbish that was sent. There was an incident back with Lester Vaughan School when they sent this video, a video that's over 2 years old, making people think that this incident happened there and then the minister had to go in, not the minister, the principal had to go in and let them know, look, this is not correct. This happened some time back. Please disregard this story. So,
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
really have to look at that. Now
Yeah,
let's talk.
and plus the thing is, if somebody wants to make a establishment, a person, or a place look bad, I say all they gonna do is spread something on social media.
That's right.
The
That
same
is so
example you
true.
just used, with Lester Vaughan School. They might have the persons might have had some grievance against the school or whatever the case may be. So you know what
Mm-hmm.
they decide to do? Send
Mm-hmm.
something around that's 2 years old, make the school look bad,
Correct.
and then he, the principal, or she, the principal, have to come now and say, well,
And
no, no,
rectify
no,
the whole.
no, this is not so. This is
Mhm.
something very old. This happened 2 years ago, and this is not the current state of the school.
Correct. Correct. Now, on a happier note, West Indies team won their two matches Friday and Saturday. 145 on the first, where they asked Australia to make 146, and 196 on Saturday, where they asked them to make 197. We had some good shots, we had some good screens, some good sixes, fours, some good outs, some good catches, and we all are looking forward to an exciting match this evening at 7:30. So those followers can go on, I think it is Radio 94.7, or if those persons have multi-choice, they can go on Sportsmax to follow the match. Let's see who wins the toss this evening at 7:15, and the match starts at 7:30. Who do you have to win this match this evening, Alamayo?
Well, I have West Indies to win the match, and my reasoning is based on how they've played so far in the two games before. So I got West Indies. I mean, the bowlers have really done their thing, and the fielding has really been exceptional. So I'm saying that if they continue to field the way they did, then I don't think Australia really has a chance to um to make it. But we wait and see who wins the toss and who decides what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But as I say, the they made 146 in the first, and they defended that. Then they
Mm-hmm.
came out and made 196 and easily, comfortably defended that. So I'm saying I got West Indies. But I know that, the opposing team can have two bad games in a row. So we wait and see how things pan out.
Correct, correct. So we are hoping that they are going to give us three in a row this evening. I am sure. I'm hoping that they keep with the team as it is,
Yeah,
so
correct,
that
correct, correct, correct.
we know that they are, you know, giving us consistency on that mark. Because if you have a team that's working at it correctly and they're trying to improve on it, I think it would be very good for them to keep at it and make sure that those individuals that we have will continue to be consistent in playing the game. So,
Consistency is key, so we'll wait
yeah,
and see.
yeah. So we are hoping that at the end of the day, they will give us something to really scream or holler, especially with such a team. Some of those guys are missing, Graham Smith and those. So, having a fresh team, quote unquote,
Yeah.
playing this T20 match or matches, you get so accustomed to seeing the older folks in that team. And
Mm-hmm.
now we're looking at a fresh stock of players that are there. So we know that when they are actually in the field, there's a lot of concentration required. They have to look at the way how they're playing the game. Um, I think the batsmen have to read better.
Mm-hmm.
Although we got a good game going for both games, I think the batsmen have to make sure that they're reading what the bowlers are bowling them, pick out the areas in which to take their shot defensively while they're playing as well.
Yep. Yeah, because you don't need to get down to like 6 man and down there. I mean, if they're really playing properly, I mean, doesn't have to get all the way down there. But even
Hmm.
if it does, at least they should still be able to, you know, put something. But I mean, if the back first put something on the board that, you know, it's good for them to think. Because I say
Correct.
once the guys feel the way how they feel in the last match and the match before,
Hmm.
oh, ooh boy, sorry for Australia. But
Correct.
the amount of catches that we took in the field in the last game, I was there saying, and the effort that fellas gave. I mean, even I could even recall the who it was. It was somebody on the boundary, man. Somebody on the boundary. They caught the ball, they tossed it in,
Andre
and
Russell.
wait, and fell on the ground. So
Yeah.
they stopped the 6 and the 4.
Yeah. Though they were stopping fours and sixes, I think they were giving them a chance, a run for their money when they were doing that. So I know
Yeah,
for a fact that they were really giving them a run for their money.
yeah.
So
So
we're going to see. Let's introduce our guests for this morning. Ooh, let me tell you, I was running through some books that she had, and it was kind of difficult putting them down. Let's tell you a bit about her, but she's going to tell you more about herself and her compact books and stuff. I'm going to let her tell you. She goes by the name, as the author, Dahlia Rose. She is USA Today's best selling multi genre author from urban fantasy to romance with a hit of Caribbean spice. And I can tell you the first book I read had Barbados in it, so I got so excited I read the next book. She was actually born and raised in Barbados. She currently lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she states that her life revolves around her 5 children, who she has affectionately nicknamed the Children of the Corn. I think she'll explain that to us. And her husband and longtime love, who's also an honorable retired Army veteran. She has a love of dark fantasy, sci-fi, and the things that go bump in the night. With over 7 dozen books published, she's become a favorite of many readers. So let us bring in Dahlia Rose, the beautiful Dahlia Rose.
Hi, everybody.
yeah, hi,
Hi,
morning.
good
Morning.
morning. How are
Uh,
you?
I'm good. Waking up in Barbados. How could I not be good?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we could say, welcome home.
Yes, thank goodness. It's been over 2 years now, and I have been waiting.
Oh Lord, how has it been for you in the US with what has transpired with this pandemic? What tell us a little bit about that before we get into your journey.
COVID in the U.S. is was difficult to start out, but when President Biden got in, everything just started to smooth out really well.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
we began to see some amazing changes. The vaccine started to roll out quicker, better. Um, we started to see more access for people for healthcare and everything. And I got my vaccine in April
mm-hmm,
through the army with my husband, and
mm-hmm.
from there, all of my kids are vaccinated, and my only person in our household that's not vaccinated is my grandson.
Right.
And it's been quiet because I'm kind of a house body, so it's not been a real like missing going outside or anything. We have a big backyard, so we've made do.
Oh, good. That's very good. So that means you were able to have your own little barbecue in the back.
Exactly. Yes.
And did you have friends over or just family over when the whole thing went through?
In the beginning, it was just us, but as restrictions lapsed and as we got vaccinated and people got vaccinated, we allowed more people to come over.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say that honestly, unless you're vaccinated, still we don't like it. We won't let you come to the house, or we won't go visit anyone unless they're vaccinated and can confirm that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, even though you have the vaccine, you can still catch the virus. And since my grandson is only a year old and he can't have the vaccine, I don't want to bring it home to him.
Correct, correct. Yes, yes, yes. That makes a lot of sense. Very much so. So for you, it has been quite of a challenge over the last year and some. And
Yes.
of course, I suppose, well, your husband, is he retired or is he back out to work or?
No, he is retired, so he was
Okay.
home.
Young retirement for him, really.
Yeah, but he did 23 years of service and he got honorably discharged after he got blown up in Iraq, and he got
Oh,
honorably discharged. His back was messed up. So,
oh no.
yeah, so he
Yeah,
is
yeah.
basically a homebody and he travels with me now.
Okay, well, God bless him. And although he would not have done service to Barbados, we thank him for his service to the US. And I know that is his nation on his sleeve, as we would say, and his
Yep.
heart. So you give him our regards. And I
I
hope he's enjoying Barbados.
Oh, he loves it here. He loves the rum punch most of all.
Who doesn't love it? But I don't drink, so that's okay. I'll have the punch without the rum.
Correct, Mary.
So well, this morning, our actual host, Lionel, he was affected by, which we mentioned earlier this morning, he
Mhm.
was affected by the hurricane. So
Oh
he
no,
has
I'm so
been
sorry.
very busy trying to do some repairs to his home. So he has given his regards and he is quite upset that he's missing this conversation with you this morning. So for the time being, we always have our dear Philin Alimayu, who's actually my brother, um, and we're all excited to hear your story. So let us begin by you telling us, and we usually take the journey from the pigtails to where you are
Mhm.
now. So we
Okay.
start with school because you would have been in Barbados first,
Yes.
and then you would have migrated. So tell us, where did you go to primary school and then go on to your secondary school?
I went to St. Boniface Primary School, and that's in St. James. Upper
Mm-hmm.
Carlton, St. James, I think it's around Sion Hill. And I went to Springer Memorial Girls School.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always writing. Either it was either poetry or romance. I was always
Mm-hmm.
writing. And when my dad moved to the United States, soon after we did as well, me and my
Mm-hmm.
younger sister. I
Right.
still have two brothers and an older sister here, and a bunch of aunts and uncles and everyone. But
Mm-hmm.
it was my aunts really that got me into romance because I used to, read their books when I had to go over there, and then they'd let me borrow them, and I just got into the whole reading romance novels, and that's really where my love of reading came from. And
Mm-hmm.
going to the library on Saturday, I used to get to go to the main library and Bridgetown.
Bridgetown.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
and go pick up whatever books I wanted. And I have been an avid reader. I think from the my graduation at St. Boniface Primary, I did really well in my English
Mm-hmm.
exams.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my prizes was a really thick book called What Katie Did. And it was from one of my teachers, Mr. Bend.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one, and he gave me the book. And I can tell you, I read that thing cover to cover a million times.
Wow.
And it was one of my favorite books so much that I have it downloaded on my Kindle still. And
Very good.
I'm a grown woman. I haven't been in school
Yo,
forever. But
Very,
yeah,
very good. Very good.
but he's that started my love of reading, and it just took off from there. And I'm honestly can say that right now I'm doing the job that I love. I get to stay home with my kids and I write all day.
Oh, lovely. So you write into the morning.
I set a schedule. I write about maybe 8-10 hours a day, and then
Oh,
the rest of the time is family time.
okay. Well, that's good. That's very good. Now, you said you went to St. Boniface,
Mm-hmm.
and that's in St. James.
Yep.
And then you would have graduated from primary
Yep.
to my alma mater.
Oh, you
So
went to Springer.
that's right. So you
Yay.
tell me a little bit about your life while you were at the Florence Springer Memorial School. Let us know what was your experience there.
I loved it. I still can remember, going to, sports and the games,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely out back, out back where we used to go play rounders.
Yes.
And yes, and definitely where we had to, I can still remember where we used to go buy our lunches and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Springer was
Yeah.
a really great part of, changing who I am as well. I was more of a quiet person. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't. I wasn't one of those girls that sneak away from school or nothing like that. I used to stay in school.
Our era, we never did that.
Yeah, we never did that at all. But I had a teacher there called Miss Yard.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it Miss Yard or Miss Ward? And she was a light skinned lady. She was round and she was very, very firm, very firm. And
Mrs.
she would,
Ward. Mrs.
yeah,
Ward.
Miss Ward, yes,
Yeah.
her.
Mhm.
Lord, that woman used to go in on me, but she went in on me for a reason because she knew I could do better.
Right.
And if she saw that I did bad on a test or something, she would call me out. She's like, you can do better. And
Mm-hmm.
I really think that I call it strict love
Mm-hmm.
is what really helped me, become who I am today. Because when it comes down to me and my kids with their education, I give them the same strict love.
Ah, I think that's a West Indian
And
thing,
I can
really.
honestly say that my kids, that's a West Indian thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
definitely. And my oldest son, he just graduated from college with 2 degrees. And
Beautiful.
my daughter is graduating from high school early and she's going to pre-med. And
Mm-hmm.
my other son, he is graduating. He's actually in college right now for graphic design and arts. And my oldest daughter she's in hospitality. So I transferred my love of education to them, thank goodness. The baby's
Very
with me.
good.
He's
good
12
stuff.
years old and he likes art as well.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That shows that your foundation was already grounded when you went to Springer Memorial with regards to literature, because obviously with your writing, it would have come from the English and English language and English literature. Now, I
Yeah.
have to tell the folks your last book, A Love Hate Relationship. I only finished it day before because I was trying to catch up on all your books. There's so many. And in
Yes,
reviewing
they
your
are.
collection, you have quite a lot. Well, let me track back a bit. Your books are a mixed um, character, really. You normally have a black and white. Is it based on your
Hmm.
personal experience, or is it that it just came about that way?
It's a little bit of both because my husband is white and our kids are mixed. And I generally write they always say write what you know and write what you know well.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that, and but I also write African American and Caribbean characters as well. I actually have a young adult series that my agent is pitching right now that is set directly off of Caribbean characters, and it takes you from the Creole setting in Louisiana to
Mm-hmm.
California, and then it comes back to the islands of Barbados. So
Mm.
it's really diverse set of characters in that, and it's got a more of a fantasy setting. But my agent loves it, and she's like, "We're sending this to everyone so we can get this book out there."
Wow, I'm gonna follow that series. And noticing the fact why I asked that because most of your covers of all of your books have that mixture of white and black. And
Hmm.
what I love about your stories thus far, I think because you have children, you try to incorporate the character with having a child or already have a child. Why is that?
I love kids. I have to. I have five of them. But it's not only. I think family is a really big basis for me as well. And since
Mm-hmm.
we were growing up, and I've grown up with my brothers and my siblings and everyone else, that I like to bring a sense of family into my characters because I like, as I say, I write happily ever afters. I don't leave a book as happy for now or happy maybe. I want them to be in love, and I want them to have a family, and I want them to have everything that some people are really missing right now. And I have an
Mm-hmm.
amazing family, and if I can bring that to someone in a book and say, hey, maybe I should go out there and fall in love and, you know, have a kid or two. Not that you have to have children, but I mean, a really good, well rounded relationship is wonderful.
Yes, that is so true. That is so true. Because re- well, in reading a lot of your books, I think the first one that hit me was the title just was the Scottish one, where it was based in Barbados, so she was taken away.
Oh,
Um,
her Scottish, his Highland Queen.
yes,
Yes.
I got excited while I was reading that with regards that you are making these females strong characters. She was a nobody, she didn't play around and she spoke her
Hmm.
words to the point where you could marry me, but I'm not, this ain't gonna play. I have my own place. And she stood her ground. Are all of your female, I mean, even a love hate relationship, although that had a slight twist in the female character was a very strong prosecutor. I think she was the state prosecutor in the book.
Yep. Hmm.
Um, and the gentleman was her employee.
Yes.
Um, do you find that most of your characters, the females, you portray them as strong entities of the story? Because all of them I found were like that thus far.
I always say I don't write weak women because we are not weak women.
Mm,
And we are not. I mean, as as black women, not only in the Caribbean but in the United States, across the world, we carry the burden of family, we carry our jobs, we carry children, we have a lot that is put on our shoulders. We don't
mm-hmm,
have time to be weak. And I always write my heroines as strong and firm and have their own mind,
mm-hmm.
and they're not waiting for someone to save them. They can save themselves, basically. But the
Correct.
love relationship that they find doesn't make them whole because they're already whole. It enhances them, it makes
Mm-hmm,
them better, it helps them evolve. And I think
mm-hmm,
that's what love does to people. It doesn't, make them whole. And if you're looking to love to make you whole or make you better, it's not going to do that. But if you're looking to love to enhance you and to help you evolve into a better person or the person you want to be with a mate, that's why it's there. So I don't write, princesses in towers looking to be saved. My princesses climb out of those towers and slay the dragons themselves and, walk on.
That's right. You go, girl. I like that. I like that. You'd make them come out of the tower and they actually fight with a good cause. That's very good.
Mhm.
And what how would you encourage young people like yourself, because you were an avid reader from young, and right now in Barbados we are considered to quote unquote have the highest literacy rate in the world. However, we just had a scenario with the 11 plus where they did an assessment and the children fell down quite a lot. One of the things
Mhm.
they need to do is comprehension and compositions, and I know for you it's going to be a little different in the US because they have lots of, how should I put it, entities, a little bit more encouragement with the different devices and activities that they do to encourage the children to read. Now, right now, parents across the island do have challenges with children reading. The distraction is, the tablets, the
Yep.
television, the phones. What it would be your suggestion as an author, writer, mother who would have been home in Barbados with a different environment, and now you have another environment which is obviously different. What do you see is the pros and cons?
I think that with Barbados, the challenge would be technology.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that all of my kids had a Kindle in their hands from the time I taught them to read. And I think that one of the major things is that you just can't give a child a book and tell them, here, read that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sit there and show them that you have a love of reading and
Mm-hmm.
help them see that this book can take them to another world and open up their imagination. Um,
Right.
I want before COVID came, and I hope that I can do it in the future. I wanted to do some workshops here in Barbados for people who really wanted to get into being writers or aspiring writers and authors, and show them that it's not as hard as they think,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
even here that they can make a mark for themselves. But
Mm-hmm.
COVID put that on the back burner for now. But that's the same thing with literacy. I would love to be able to do programs with kids and show them, hey, you know what? I was just like you. And even with the tablets and all of that good stuff, there is still a vast amount you can do. The Kindle, for instance, there are Kindles out there that are just for reading purposes only. They can't get apps or games or anything. And it's a book. And I always say,
Mm-hmm.
2 pages a day. That's all I ask. Two
Wow.
pages a day. And
Mm-hmm.
if you can read
Mm-hmm.
2 pages a day and you can tell me what those 2 pages were about, you
Right.
can go do whatever else you want. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really a way to encourage children because they're never just going to stop at the 2 pages. They're always going to want to know what happens next. And I always find that
Right.
after those 2 pages, they say, well, after that, I ended the chapter. And I'm like, okay, good, even better. But it's a matter of parents having to encourage the children as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. In regards to showing another parent how to get that child involved with reading. With regards to that pointer, if a young child now wants to get into writing, what would be your encouragement there?
Um, well, there's a whole difference between adult writing and say young adult and like children's books. And
Mm-hmm.
with if we're going between the ages of 6 to 10, we'd
Mm-hmm.
consider that a children's book. So it would be like 6 or 7 sentences per page.
Mm-hmm.
And I would honestly say with that, you could actually ask them to draw the characters first because they have to see the characters in their mind before they can write it. Draw the pictures, draw the story, and then
Mm-hmm.
add the words. What is your character doing in the pictures that you just did? And it tends
Right.
to blend out smoother that way. For
Mm-hmm.
children, I say from 11 to 15, 15 to 18, they're more into writing longer, sentences, longer paragraphs. And I would
Right.
say to them generally, plot your work first. Plot what your story is going to be about. Give me 10 things this story is going to be about, and then execute. broaden each of those points until you have a book.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it goes to show that if they have a passion for reading, then the writing becomes easier because
Yeah.
then they're going to be using their imagination in what they're doing, etc., etc. So, with regards to that, I think that's a very good suggestion. Now, what is on the future map right now for Dahlia Rose for the rest of the year, apart from the
For
book
the
that just came out?
for the rest of the year, there's more. I think I have a historical coming out, and I'm sorry my phone is ringing like that because it's crazy. That's my sister calling me because she knows I'm here. And I also write for Hallmark. Hallmark contracted my first book with them, and hopefully they turn it into one of those Christmas movies we all love. And I'm going to show you the cover now because they did the cover reveal yesterday online. And this is my, oops, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Where did it go?
I saw
Here's
you
my
had a lot
Hallmark
of
cover.
Christmas books. Yeah, what's it?
Yeah, this is
Miss. Oh
Mistletoe
yes,
in Juno.
Mistletoe and Juno. You didn't have a cover for
Yeah,
that. I just saw it as
not
a
yet.
line. Yes.
Yep. So Hallmark revealed the cover yesterday, and this is the cover. And this
Hmm.
features African American hero and heroine set in Juneau, Alaska.
That's
And this
right.
is honestly one of my most favorite books that I ever wrote. So that will be
Hmm.
coming October 19th. And
Hmm.
from there, I really don't have a release schedule because it happens kind of suddenly. And
Hmm.
I just
Hmm.
signed a 3 book contract with Tool Publishing, and my agent, we just signed that, and we just announced about that a few days ago. So that will be happening in 2022. So we're kind of in that range right now.
Okay, beautiful. And you showed that to me, and I like that you have quite a collection of Christmas stories. Um, and I couldn't choose which one to read. That's the truth. But I stuck to the historical ones, and then I went out of historical into the love hate relationship because I wanted to
Hmm.
get into that to have an idea where that one was going. Um, how do you come up with your storylines?
My husband says my imagination never sleeps, so that's probably it. I've got a big old imagination. But with my Christmas stories, we all know how Christmas is in Barbados. We do it right. And
Yes.
and just because I'm in North Carolina does not mean that I do not celebrate Christmas. I celebrate Halloween like and Christmas and Thanksgiving, like they're my favorite holidays, and I love Christmas. So when it comes to writing Christmas books, I am there for it. You give me a scenario, I will do it. But my
Hmm. Hmm.
imagination is just there. I just wake up with these plots. I always tell my husband that they happen in the shower, and I'm in there, and next thing you know, a plot comes to my head, and I come out, dripping wet, and I have to go write it down somewhere. So I'm always thinking.
Oh, well, let's see if the folks get a picture here of
Yep,
yourself and your hubby. I don't know if
yep,
I
that
can
was
get it.
us.
Shoot.
It
Can
just
this?
blinked in and it blinked out.
Oh Lord, let me see again. I had it just now.
There it
No
is.
idea, Marie. Is there, Marie?
It's there? Yes.
Yes, it's
There
there.
we
Yeah, is
have
there.
Dahlia Rose with her handsome husband, who is her 100% support for all of her writings, um,
Yep.
a retired veteran. And you notice during our interview, you speak about him all the time. So I'm saying, not assuming, I'm saying that he really inspires your writing. And for those
He
people
does.
who haven't had a chance yet to read it, I don't want to put you in the class of what's the book that became so popular? Shade of Gray, Gray Shade. Oh
Uh,
Lord,
um,
50 Shades
50
of
Shades
Grey.
of Grey. Oh, no, 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 no,
yeah,
no. I'm
I
not in that class.
no, but I was going to say it's close to 100 shades of Caribbean
Yes. I can live with 100 Shades of Caribbean.
because the
Uh,
writing is. As you said, you were in the shower. You get a lot of steam coming from the writing.
Opens
There-
up that, the brain.
Because that's why I said I went from one book to another book to another book. And then when I conversed with you, I said, "What's your next book that's coming out?" So I could make sure the folks get an idea of what it is. Um,
Mm.
I'm trying here to see if I can pull it up so they can see it. Um, and I love the covers. I have to ask, how do you get the ideas for the covers?
Pardon me,
How do you get
you're
who
frozen a
does the
little bit.
covers? Who does the
Oh,
covers?
my covers are the most is my fantastic cover artist gurus, Erin Damron Hall. She is the cover art extraordinaire. I tell her that she just jumps into my brain, she plucks some stuff out, and she goes out and she makes my covers because she's never done a cover that I haven't liked or adored. So she really is the one that brings my books to life in the cover form. And I've got some older books: Paradise Found, The Song of Calypso, Caribbean
Yes.
Blue,
Hmm.
and a few others that are primary. Let's see, Dear Santa, you know, Seducing Saint Nicholas. Those are all set. Those are all set directly in the Caribbean.
Yes, I
And for
noticed.
yes, and she makes those covers pop for me. So
Yeah.
I absolutely love her, and I told her that I'll just bring her back all the chocolate and anything I can bring her back from Barbados, so that she'll keep making these covers for me.
You got to make sure to take for her a Mount Gay.
That
Definitely a
Exactly, I
bravery.
Mount Gay.
That
gotta
bravery.
make sure she's happy. Yep, bribery has to
That
work.
bravery though. Shortlist.
So
That
right there,
bravery.
right there, I
I
have
gotta
the
make sure she's
cover.
happy. Gotta make sure
That's
she's happy.
right. That's right. Right there, I have the cover. A love-hate relationship, and it's notarized at USA Today best-selling author Dahlia Rose. And um, I'm here trying to remember the one that I read, which was what was it again? You called the name out for me.
Her Scottish Rogue. No, her
Yes.
Highland Queen. Her Highland Queen.
Oh Lord, I read the Scottish Rogue too. I read that one.
Yes.
I read through all of those. I read that one as well. And I noticed you have Eclipse of the Heart. Could you tell us a little bit of what
Mhm.
Eclipse of the Heart is? I didn't get a chance to look into that one. Tell us a little bit about Eclipse of the Heart.
Well, Eclipse of the Heart and I Think We're Alone Now is based on those 80s songs that we always used to hear.
Uh huh.
And they're set in a small town in North Carolina where apparently when you go into the town, you always fall in love. And it's kind of
Hmm.
like a romance comedy where there's a lot of blended families. The first book, there's an Indian grandfather, a American mother, and it's just really a blended kind of family, and they get into some hijinks, and it's very funny, and it's filled with tons of romance, and it has a veterans care facility where I'm one of the advocates for veteran care because of my husband being a vet, and
Hmm.
in the past years it was very difficult to get care. It was very long wait times, and there's a
Hmm.
really high suicide rate among veterans because they're waiting for PTSD care and everything. So I joined Wounded Warrior,
Oh,
and I used to run work for charities for them, and I've become a really big advocate for veteran care. So in my books, you
yeah.
might find a lot of stuff about veterans not being treated well and trying
Yes.
to change
Yes.
around the clinics for the better so that we can highlight the fact that these wounded warriors, they are heroes. They come back and they're hurt
Hmm.
and they've put their lives on the line for this country. It's about time that the United States puts themselves on the line for them.
Hmm.
So a
Hmm.
lot of my books feature that, and in Eclipse of the Heart, and I Think We're Alone Now, we feature the veterans facility that the hero, who's a doctor, changed around, and his friend, they helped change it around to make it better.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes. I've just put that up. I think we're
yep, that
alone
one.
now.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes. I'm going to read that one. As I said, I'm most intrigued with what you've written, And as you mentioned, I did notice quite a lot of veteran covers. And again, they're
Yes.
always family oriented stories because some of them show up with a baby in between or a child in between. And I think that's what I like with a writer who finds writing their book based on families, because most of the time you might write a book and it's just about the couple alone, but at the end, as you said, there's that happy ending that
Hmm.
comes about that gives you a continuity, because then when you read a book you want in your mind, you're telling yourself, oh Lord, what's going to happen next? You want a book two to that story
Yeah.
to see how they've grown within their relationship. So it's
Yes.
not just
Yeah.
about reading a romantic story, it's thinking how the characters played out themselves, because um, in all of them you tend to think each character is different, and you
Mm.
bring about, like if somebody has a negative attitude and one is positive, you tend to see yourself in those
Yeah.
characters
Yeah.
sometimes. So in doing that, you say to yourself, ooh, I didn't realize, that things can come out for the better,
Yep.
knowing how they're doing, how the storyline has actually gone. Um, there was one with a girl. I told you I read a lot, but I can't remember the names now. There was one with a girl
You well,
who
you sit down
the
with everybody.
husband, no, the guy was the owner of a big conglomerate, and she was a bartender, and she was up front and told him straight, "I'm not leaving my bar." And she lived in a RV, I think it was, up on
Oh
a
yes.
hill.
That's
Right.
where she lays. Where she lays.
Where she
Yep.
lays,
Yep.
right?
When he
And
had all the money and she really didn't give a damn about his money.
she just couldn't care less. And then he was trying to play her when somebody stole the RV,
Yeah.
and she saw, quote unquote, his side of
Yep.
his life. So it's, when you read it, it really puts you in perspective of these storylines that you would see come to light, like Markle and
Yep.
Prince Harry kind of thing,
Yep.
And you say to
Hmm.
yourself, oh, well, this is just up my alley, because we know that these things can be true, it can come to fruition. But if you stand your ground, which is what she did, um, you don't have to give me all of these different things, because all I want is this. And
Yep.
he created a home on the same hill and everything. I mean, I think folks have to just go. The books are readily available either on your website, which is Unscripted. I think that's the name of the website,
Yep.
Unscripted. Am I right?
www.dahliaroseUnscripted.com.
Right. Or they're accessible through Amazon on Kindle.
Yep.
They're not expensive. And I think by supporting another Barbadian like yourself, even though you're overseas, I think it would merit to say that they should really give support to our own
And
Dahlia
I hope to be
Rose.
able to come back and do another book signing. I had a book signing here in 2019 at Pages,
Hmm.
and I loved it. And I love interacting, and I love bringing in all the goodies and the swag and everything for readers that came out. And then I did one at the main library in Bridgetown. And you know what? I'm looking forward to bringing more books to Barbados and doing it again.
Yes, and I want to say to Dahlia, thank you for your time. It's precious. We're
You
glad to
too.
have you home for, I know it's a short period after 2 years, 3 years nearly,
Yeah.
but we
We've got
give
about
God
3 weeks. I'm gonna
thanks.
enjoy it.
Give God thanks for you. We pray that you continue on your journey of literature. We know that it brings you joy, and we hope that as you journey along this path, that it we know it's going to give you continued peace and tranquility, because that's, as speaking to you, we know that that's what it has done for you, and we hope it will do the same for others. But we want to acknowledge you as one of our own stars. People don't
Thank
recognize
you.
our own stars, but we want you to know that you are our very own star here in Barbados
No, thank
and
you.
abroad.
Correct. It's so true.
Okay,
I
I
so
just
appreciate it.
I, I just have one quick question though.
uh-huh.
How many books did you write before you became U.S. best-selling author though.
Maybe like maybe like 90.
She has a vast
90.
variety.
Yeah, another friend of mine, I did another podcast before I actually came down here, and she counted the books, and she said there was about 100 and almost 70 so far. And I was like, "Whoa, that's a lot."
I
I
if I
didn't.
had to start writing, I wouldn't be able to catch it to you.
I always say, if you're going to start writing, you should live your dream. This is something that anyone can do, and I think it's, if you have a passion for it, do it. Don't let
Yeah,
anyone tell you not to.
correct, correct. I fully agree with you.
170 bucks, Mari.
Yes,
So
that is.
imagine, so imagine how many bucks she's gonna have before she retires.
I think she can retire too.
No, I'm just saying. That is a large number. There are
I'm
some
not
people that
retiring
don't
for a
even.
very long
There are
time.
some people that don't even have that amount of bucks out.
But that's it. That's it. But she's on a good road. She's on a good road. And as I said earlier, we mark you as one of our stars. And we have one of our followers here. She would love to be your cover. What? A plus size love story. I'm available for the cover. She's
Tell
saying
her
when you're
anytime. Reach
ready.
out. Tell her to reach out on Facebook. I
That's
actually,
right.
in 2019, my one of my friends, she's a photographer. Before COVID, I mean, we were supposed to be coming down, and COVID put a mar on that. But we were actually coming down for her to do a photography session here and find cover models for her covers. She has a cover stock place where we buy our cover models that we put in our on our pictures on our covers,
Mhm.
and she was coming, and then
COVID.
COVID put a kibosh on that. So that might happen as well. And tell her we always check my Facebook page. We might reach out.
Never know. Never know. But so we
Yes.
really want to give you thanks and we pray and hope that you continue your holiday in Barbados and you know, keep reaching for the stars. That's
Thank
all we have
you.
to tell you. Just keep reaching for the stars. Oh, and one more thing as well. A lady by the name of Monique Marie.
Yes, that's my cousin.
Well, Barbados is so small. I'll give you a little hint. Between you and I going to Springer, she's also my sister. So,
No, she's not.
yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Yeah, we got a
Sends her
little
regards.
sentimental on
Wow.
you.
Yes,
We got
sends
a
her
little sentimental on you
regards.
there.
Wow,
We got a little.
Me and Money grew up together. Oh my God, me and her, we used to trade romance novels. I'd walk to her house and we would trade romance novels when she lived in
What?
Rock Thunder.
She's still
What is
there. She's
this?
still there. She's still in Rotterdam. Yeah,
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 we
yeah,
used
yeah.
to be, I mean, every like few days back and forth. And we went to St. Boniface together
Yeah,
before she went
yeah,
on
yeah,
to I went on to Springer.
yeah.
This is
Because
a
she went
very
to
small island, I
Alexander.
say.
Yeah,
We know
she went to
everybody.
Alexander. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's only 166
Yep.
square miles, 4 towns. That's it.
I know.
Wow.
So we want to
Well, nice to
congratulate.
meet you both.
Yes. We want to, before we go, congratulate our winner of our second prize, compliments of Body Bliss Zone, Melissa Ophelia Watson. I think she follows us for every show. And she got the answer right. It was Belmont Primary, which is a school that the Honorable Kirk Humphrey attended prior to going on to, I think it was Little Thorn. I myself can't remember the other school. And she
Loki.
has won a full body massage,
Ooh.
compliments of Body Bliss Zone. And she can contact them for her prize. We want to also continue with our prizes. The question of the day is who was our second guest on our second show? Let's see how those followers can follow that question. Who was our second guest on our second show? So, Alamayu, finish it off for us.
Yes, so thanks to having everyone here today. Um, we just want to remind you to stay safe, sanitize your hands, wear your mask, social distance, and we pray that everyone has a blessed and a great and enjoyable day. Marie, who are we having next on our show?
We will be having the famous, I think he won it twice, which was nice, Mikey Mercer. Our own Mikey will be with us next week, Monday evening, because he's not available to us in the morning. So we're going to have him in the evening at 6 p.m. So come out, listen up for any new music he might be introducing for Crop Over 2021. Let's hear a bit about his story. And he's considered the strongest man in Barbados. We're going to get a little bit on how he became the strongest man in Barbados. And we hope you folks had a good time with us and our special guest, Dahlia Rose. We look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, wear your mask, sanitize, and social distance. And we always encourage you
Be safe.
to be safe, call a friend and make sure how they're doing. And we pray that all of you continue to remain safe. Have a good day and bye bye.